So I recently talked about how Jeffree Star called out Trisha Paytas, calling her a liar, and just completely went off on her and is bringing up all this old drama, trying to rewrite history a bit. Basically, Trisha had Terry Joe on her podcast, and during the interview, Jeffree got brought up, and she casually played off having drama with him by saying she didn't remember what happened.
Jeffree and Eugenia, because that's like the holy trinity of TikTok Live.
I saw Eugenia. It didn't say that she was live with Jeffree. It usually shows like they're live with someone else, and I just clicked her name, and Jeffree was there.
And you haven't met him in real life?
No.
They could be iconic. I could see you guys together.
Okay. I'm a little scared of him.
Really?
Yeah, but not really.
Right.
I'm also scared of everyone. So.
I'm scared of everyone too. Yeah. No, Jeffree's cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think we had I don't know, maybe we didn't have beef. I don't know. Sometimes you think about like why did we fall out? Sometimes I forget. I was just a hot mess. I just hated everyone for a minute.
That was the point of like the internet at that time when everyone was just falling out with each other and
just
like
being so messy.
Everyone's just beefing. I think that's like the entertainment value of the internet.
Jeffree ended up seeing the clip and went off, calling her a liar, and was so mad that she was being so chill about things when he's claiming she made up lies to try and ruin him. And once again, said the same thing when he went on Bunny XO's podcast, where Trisha got brought up, and he once again accused Trisha of lying, saying she not only lied about him, but Hair by Jay as well, and then brings up the whole Vegas trip once again, trying to say that, he never shamed her, didn't talk about her badly, she made up all this stuff, she had a good time on that trip, and claims that she only switched up once him and Shane were getting canceled.
I came off tour to do her podcast with her, to do her podcast and her come on my podcast, and she texted me an hour before she was supposed to show up that she wasn't coming.
Trisha did me and Jay wrong and made up a whole drama. She did me really wrong. Oh. She made up all these lies, said I fat shamed her and called her all these things. Never happened.
Right.
Never happened. And then she gets in a fight.
Looking for clout too?
Of course she was. Okay. That was her shtick.
Right.
I literally just flew her to Vegas. We're front row at Mariah Carey. The internet starts turning on me and Shane during the pandemic. She flips and makes up a whole story. Mm-hmm. The vlog was filmed on her channel. Her being in love with all of us. We go to Vegas, we take her on a shopping spree, we do all these amazing things. She deletes the vlog, makes up lies about me and him. And the internet at the time, they ran with it.
Right.
She hurt me deeply.
No.
And she's never apologized.
Well, Trisha, if you're listening, I hope that maybe hearing his side of the story will make you want
It was hurtful, and she knows it was.
2 people on the Vegas trip came out and literally admitted Jeffree had talked bad about Trisha on the trip. Tab and Hair by Jay both admitted it.
There was a moment where I had stood up and said, I'm not cool with body shaming and I'm not cool with people talking about people's skin. And Jeffree had told me, don't worry about it. This person does this to themselves on the internet, so it's okay for us to do it.
We talked about your skin, but your skin looks like this day a whole year later.
Hair by Jay literally exposed himself for not liking Trisha and talking bad about her on a live. So there's no denying that he said bad things about Trisha.
For 2 weeks, she said that. Look at this stupid. She's saying, I'm gonna play it again. This stupid, dumb.
Plus, back at the time when Jay was going off on Trisha, everyone was like, Jeffree, what are you going to do? Are you going to fire him? Like, how can you work with someone that's talking about your friend that way? And Jeffree said, I've been in Wyoming and had no idea what's going on, just catching up now, and am horrified by what he said. Let's not pretend I had any part in that. And in a tweet later on, literally admitted to apologizing to Trisha for the Vegas trip. So obviously wrongs were made. He said, I have personally apologized to Trisha Paytas several times last year about Vegas and she never responded, which is her right. I respected it and what happened is between us. Don't drag me into new drama, not interested. What someone else says does not represent me. So Jeffree's out here calling Trisha a liar and all of this stuff when he's literally tweeted that he had to apologize for his behavior in Vegas. But somehow Jeffree does not want to remember things properly, and he has now given a new comment to Rich Lux, where he once again is calling Trisha a liar, trying to say that he was a good friend to Trisha and saved her from doing substances with Jaclyn Hill's ex-husband.
What triggered me was that,
I don't remember.
Now, I was on the trip. I lived it, I breathed it, no one else did. So you all can have opinions, perfectly fine, just like I do, but know you were not there. I was such a good, loving friend. People keep wanting to mention the gifts. Who cares about any of that? Minus that, I was her real friend. She had just came off of doing Jaclyn Hill's ex-husband, and I saved her from the trenches and took her away from it as she admitted her skin was bad, she was coming off of drugs, and she was not in the right headspace. So I graciously took her in my nest, showered her with not only affection and love, but things to distract her. I know Mariah Carey doesn't buy friendship. I don't need to buy anyone's friendship. I loved and cared about her and got backstabbed for the 100th time. So no one else lived that but me. She vlogged the entire trip. We had the best time. And when she flipped on us, yes, Hair by Jay went crazy. Do I stand by everything he said? No, and I've said that before. But when you're angry, like I have been before and how we all have been, but you guys were never recorded, is we've all lashed out. We've all said things we don't mean. And yes, his was recorded and he was very vicious and ugly about it. But he was hurt because she literally lied. When we were going through the casinos of Vegas, there was fans chasing me down and I had to move quicker. Jay made sure he stayed behind and walked her through the casino so she wasn't left behind.
Clearly, Jeffree was airing it all out, but I think he's forgetting it's not just Trisha who had come out to say Jeffree and friends were nasty to her. But as this all has been getting talked about again, people wondered if Trisha had seen this getting talked about, and she responded to someone on TikTok saying that she did in fact see the clip from Jeffree on Bunny's podcast and said that this was her biggest fear when she canceled on Bunny last minute at the time, that she would bring it up and it would turn into some drama. Trisha was saying all these amazing things about Bunny and said that she loves her and looks up to her, but she got this amazing opportunity that ended up being her interviewing Donny Osmond, and it was supposed to be for the next day, but it ended up being for that night, and she knows that it was rude to cancel on Bunny and is very clearly very sorry about the fact that she did. She was getting emotional about the fact that she canceled on Bunny.
I wanted to do her podcast more than anything. Like, I love Bunny. I love Bunny. I keep telling her, like, it's amazing, her story. Like, every time a new part of her story comes out, like, I'm in awe, and I think she's, like, I looked up to her in so many ways. The last thing I wanted to do was cancel. I sent a text and was like, I don't know if this is going to work. I didn't check my phone the rest of the night. You guys are going to see on Thursday, I got this really amazing opportunity in Vegas, like this really amazing opportunity. And it was supposed to be for the next day. And then we got something that night and we just were cutting it so close. It was like picking up the boots, had to go to this event, like check my mom and baby into the hotel, like, and I told her, I was like, I feel so awful. And I had a guest cancel on me like a few weeks ago, and I told her that too, and I was like, I was so mad.
But she went on to say that bringing this all up with Jeffree, someone who doesn't like her, it clearly was making her emotional. She says that she's tried to be nice about him when he was brought up on podcasts, but for him to go and say all of this and gaslight her, it's upsetting to her, bringing all these bad times back up again.
But bringing it up on a podcast with Jeffree Star, who just hates me and continues to just hate me. I brought him up so briefly. It was asked on Tana's podcast about Jeffree, and I try to just pass it off as like it happened a long time ago. I don't even remember. And he just went on this tirade attacking me, calling me a liar. And there's one thing being in drama and responding to drama, and there's another thing to just have lies made up and just this is definition of gaslighting, to say I owe him an apology. Like, I am shaking because it's bringing it all back up again, and I was going to go look for receipts and just say that I lied about him. And then he also brings in Hair by Jay, saying I lied about Hair by Jay, when there's videos of Hair by Jay just cussing me out, telling me how ugly I am. And then there's videos of other people on that trip talking about all the mean girl behavior that happened. The reason I bought my own flight home. I was grateful with that trip. I was grateful with my friendship with Jeffree, but things happened and I didn't feel good about it anymore, and so I was out.
Trisha goes on to say that her friendship with Shane and Rylan ended because they took Jeffree's side, and she made her peace with all that. But to have it brought up again and for Jeffree to say that she's a liar is really getting to her, especially with all the proof that is out there that he did say mean things about her, and she didn't just join some hate campaign against him and Shane. It was personal.
I didn't say anything about Jeffree for years. I opened up to Shane and Ryland, and that is why my friendship with Shane ended, because Ryland said we had no idea she had these feelings about Jeffree. And they're like, the Hair by Jay, okay, we know, and they picked Jeffree, and that's fine. That's fine. I've made my peace with it. I've truly made my peace with it, and I really don't want this drama. But I'm not gonna let me get dragged in and say I lied. And I owe him an apology, and it was hurtful to him. There's plenty of receipts. There's plenty of videos of this online, of apologies, of all this stuff online.
She goes on to say that the only reason why she said on her podcast that she didn't remember what happened between them was to not cause any drama. But she could not believe how Jeffree handled what she said.
And I thought I was just being polite by saying it was a long time ago. I don't even remember, because I don't want to drudge this up, because for me, it's humiliating, it's embarrassing. Who I was back then is embarrassing. I thought who we were back then was embarrassing. I thought Jeffree could agree on that. And like seeing all this, and then seeing Bunny bring it up on this episode where Jeffree just despises me, knowing that he's going to go off on me and say I'm a liar and all this stuff like that. Say I wanted it, was looking for clout when I didn't say anything for years. I don't know. It felt a little bit of an attack. It felt a little bit mean girl behavior, because I get it. What I did was so disrespectful to Bunny. Like I should not have canceled last minute. I shouldn't have even made the plans to begin with. I was just so flustered. This trip, this event that was happening is like one of the biggest things that have ever happened in my entire life. I was so focused on that, and I am so sorry.
Trisha did acknowledge the fact that a lot of people do remember what went down back then and know that what Jeffree is saying is just not true about Trisha making up lies about him. There's a lot of evidence out there that he did make her feel bad on that trip, and Shane and Ryland took his side in the drama. She says she wishes she could make it up to Bunny or something. She feels really bad about not showing up, but the last person she's apologizing to is Jeffree.
The last person I owe an apology to is Jeffree Star. The last person. Because mean girl behavior. And it was a long time ago, and I've seen Jeffree Star throughout the years. Of course, it looked like he has changed out of LA, so I was just like, I get it. I wasn't always a great person either, so I thought, just let it go. But to say I ruined your life, that I owe you an apology, is insane. There's other people on the trip detailing these stories of what happened. There's no lies. And was it anything like horrible? Jeffree, no. You know, Jeffree's just Jeffree. He just has that sense of humor, I suppose. And I took it very personally. Hair by Jay was nasty, and there's videos on it. So to throw him in with him and saying that I lied about you guys, like what? Jay sent me an apology. Jay, all this stuff. It's just like, and so that's why I was letting it go, because I was like, you know what? Jay apologized. Jeffree never has. Jeffree thinks I owe him an apology, and that's what's insane about all this.
Trisha is also owning up to wrongdoings in the past and apologizing for them, but she doesn't feel Jeffree is deserving of one and just wants to go back to being content with life, away from all of this drama. She thought Jeffree was staying out of stuff like this, and honestly, I think a lot of people thought Jeffree was staying away from drama these days, but clearly not.
I have hurt a lot of people, and I've made tons of apologies publicly and privately to so many people that maybe I've called out wrongly or ended things badly with, but Jeffree, you are the last person I owe apology to. And I just want it to be over. I just want it to be over. Like, Jeffree looks happy and content in his life, and I truly am happy and content in my life. And you guys know I'm all about like protecting my peace and stuff like that, but there is a very big difference between just like protecting your peace and letting someone just completely, this is the second, third, fourth, fifth time I've seen Jeffree talk about this, saying that I'm the liar, that I ruined his life, that I made this stuff up.
Now, Bunny ended up coming out to respond to Trisha and responded to Trisha's comment on her TikTok that read, "I get what I did is gross. I get being away from your family and I wasted your time, but putting my name on blast only incites hate. It's humiliating." Bunny in her response says that on her podcast, she doesn't say anything bad about Trisha. She was just stating what happened.
I do not say one bad word about Trisha. I actually say that I think she's evolved so much as a human since having a child and is brilliant for being able to stay relevant for this long and just being who she is. Her missing the podcast actually really did bother me. One, because it's unprofessional. Two, because I had to leave Vegas, go to Utah, and I'm doing this while I'm sick, by the way, go to Utah, do my meet and greet, leave Utah, drive 6 hours back to Vegas, get there, get ready for her to come. I had to organize having a private jet there right after we got done filming, like we had planned from 2 to 5. We had planned that. I had to have a private jet ready to take me from Vegas to Montana so that I could make it to my meet and greet in Montana and to do the Jeffree podcast. Not to mention I had to drag my entire team along with me. I understand that things happen. I understand that people get, don't know how to do time management. I completely understand that because I've overbooked myself before too. Where I do have a problem with it, though, was where I text Trisha back and I explained to her, like, no, I don't have another day. Like, this my entire past 2 days revolves around you. She did not even have the decency to text me back. You say you respect me, you say you admire me, but at the same time, it's like you don't respect my time. But I'm not ever gonna lie for somebody. Am I supposed to lie for you? So saying that you feel ganged up on, I think might just be your guilt, maybe because you feel bad and you know that you handled the situation with me wrong, and I understand that. But instead of posting a video, you could have just texted me like you just did.
This whole thing is honestly just such a mess, and I can't believe we're even talking about Jeffree and Trisha drama again after all this time. But that's what Trisha had to say in response to Jeffree coming out and talking about her trying to rewrite their drama by saying she lied on his name. Let me know what you guys think about all of this in the comments. I love you guys so much, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye, guys.